my gosh, you guys, welcome back to Notes from the Edge. I am your host, Lisa Lacy, writer, trauma educator, executive advisor, author of the upcoming memoir, Notes from a Certified Madwoman, which is launching in October, and we are on schedule for that. So I'm so excited. This is the place where we talk about the things that we should have been talking about all along, the conversations that we aren't having, but we need to be. Welcome back. Every week we sit down with remarkable people we've had on here so far. We've got another remarkable guest, and this is Cheryl Stelt. And Cheryl believes that people spend a lot of time, and Cheryl, this really resonated with me because I lived it, doing all the right things, the therapy, the journaling, the meditation, all the things, and still not coming to a big shift or a transformation, in your words, that lasts. So please help me welcome Cheryl. Cheryl's a spiritual coach, speaker, best-selling author, founder of the Azarius Energy Healing Certification Program. She has more than 3 decades in this arena, helping women move beyond repeated survival patterns, some of our favorite topics, by combining subconscious work. Guys, you got to get in there. Nervous system awareness, spiritual development, into practical things that can actually be used and work. And we love that. So she helps people move from or understanding their struggle into lasting transformation. And isn't that what we're looking for? She is the author of From Blocked to Powerful, Client Magnet, and Heal Your Neck Issues. I love that. And Let Your Throat Chakra Shine. And we're going to be doing that today. Welcome in, Cheryl. How are you today? You look beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. It is just such an honor and a joy to be here with you. You know, you're talking about, you talk my language, and to be a part of your mission means so much to me in that,
Oh.
we have very different backgrounds and that we can merge and come together and really be of service today.
Yeah, I love it. And then have fun and have a good conversation and hope that we help the one person out there who needs us today. So that's always what I'm looking for. Your website is amazing, guys. We're going to put the website link everywhere, and Cheryl's going to tell you where to find it at the end of our session today. But your website opens up with something that caught my attention. It says you've journaled, you've meditated, you've done therapy, you've read all the books, yet you still feel stuck. Why do you think that happens?
I believe it's because all the insight in the world, the understanding, the mental clarity does not heal us. We can know in our brains all that we want, but it's the transformation at the emotional level and at the physical level.
And subconscious. You mentioned the subconscious level too. Yeah.
It's emotional and physical, and the emotions in the subconscious. So emotions we're conscious and aware of, but underneath those are a whole stack and layers of emotions we've never even tapped into, that we learn to repress, often at the age of 2, 1, even at birth, even in the womb. So when that's held in there, it's like we're just in the icing on the cake.
We're just repeating it, right? We're repeating these patterns. I have a story to share with you, and this is why your work resonates with me so much. I'm very open about having so many labels. They don't even know what's wrong with my brain. I got so many labels at this point. But I did a $25,000, 18-month-long DBT program. Marsha Linehan, pure genius. I agree that she is a pure genius. However, it was 3 days a week, family, group, individual. And I had those books memorized, but I could not apply them. It wasn't working. I had it up here, right? But it was so clinical in nature, and it wasn't getting to the root of what I was dealing with, which I believe my philosophy was a boatload of trauma and those subconscious emotions that I was repressing until they would explode and repress and explode. And that was my cycle: repress, explode, repress, explode. So I lived what you work with women in, and you work with a lot of midlife women too, right? I think that's such a pivotal moment. Yeah.
Yes, because when women especially get to midlife, they're done. They're like, something's got to change. I've been doing this for so many years. Something has to change. But I appreciate what you said, having that 18 months journey and having everything memorized, and you knew it intellectually. I was so blessed that my experience over 30 years ago began, and sure, I'd been for therapy, and I continued to go for therapy occasionally, really not a lot, but some. And my experiences became experiential.
Wow.
Felt in the body, learned early on to move into the subconscious on my own.
Wow.
And these repressed emotions and underneath those repressed beliefs started coming up, physical sensations. And, I could share a lot of years, a lot of decades of that. So I was just so blessed to move into that. And so my friends, other people started to see these major shifts in me, and what are you doing? What are you?
I want that. Yeah. Give me some of that.
And
Yeah.
so early on, I started helping others. And that's, so I'm so blessed. And yes, I continued to read the books and I would be inspired, but I would use bits of the knowledge to go deeper for self-inquiry and go deeper and deeper and find what was ready to be healed next. So it's been
I love that.
Next,
because it is a journey and there are layers to it. And yeah, I just had the strangest experience that brought up old traumas. Trauma is so weird. I mean, it was bringing up stuff from being bullied at 10 and mom stuff and narc husband stuff and spiritual cult stuff. Like, trauma is a weird thing. And experiences in life, external experiences, will sometimes happen to us to bring that stuff up so that we can choose consciously to look at it, to heal it, to let it go finally once and for all. But it was a trippy experience the past couple of days. It just reminded me how layered this work really is. Do you agree?
Oh, so layered. And with trauma, science has proven it's not so much about what happened. It's the lingering feelings and that sense of uncertainty that we're left with. It's all the other stuff. It's not so much about what happened. Yes, there are horrible things that happen to a large population, to a number of people: sexual abuse, physical abuse, rape, witnessing murder, horrible things. And my experiences, and science has proven it, it's what we're left with. And so if we can learn to process those emotions that we could not process at the time, we learn to process those without having to relive the experience, we start to feel lighter. We don't have to relive it. It's not required.
Yes. When I started, I spent over 200 grand of my corporate money on every type of therapy. I also did EMDR. I did it twice for 2 years. The first time I was still in active addiction, and what was happening in EMDR, sister, I was leaving so triggered. I was like, I need a drink. I need a drink. Cause it was the stories were coming up, and then you're just left to sit in them. And so and I loved her to death. She was like, well, we need you out of active addiction, so you need to stop drinking, and then we'll try EMDR again. So I hit sobriety, had a stretch of it, tried EMDR again, still the same experience. It was I think the word trigger is so overused. It was rewounding for me to be left to sit in the story.
Yeah, it's, a lot of methods, I have my method. So I've learned multiple methods, and I've tried EMDR. But what I've done when I've done EMDR, I skip the story. I don't focus on the story, because the story will only keep you in the story. Instead, I focus on the emotions and then go into the emotions that were never felt, because your body will let you, and to notice in the body what the experience was. So
people with you will leave embodied and grounded
and light.
Yes.
Light. Oh, I feel so much
Lighter.
can't believe it. Oh, I feel so much lighter. That's what they all say. And yes, you're grounded, you feel safe, you feel stable, and you can carry on again. And so really you should be feeling like $1,000,000 when you're finished with your session.
I
Seriously.
love that. Well, that's what I love about, and I talk about transformational coaches all the time. The pivotal moment for me was when I started working with transformational coaches. And here's what I believe is the fundamental difference in what we do and say what a talk therapist does. It's talk therapy, rite of passage, good to do, find out what happened, figure out what happened, hit that victim mode as just a stage that you move through really quickly. But what I love about transformational coaching is we are very interested in moving people forward, right? Talk to me about that, kind of what you feel the differences in
Yeah,
what you do.
because the healing alone is not enough
Mm,
in whatever form. If you think of it this way, we need to go through the mindset work first, because that's the lightest layer, the most superficial, but it can be very effective, very, very useful to a certain extent. And then
because
we
it's data, right? It's
right,
information.
it's
Okay.
information, and we can try and control our brains and make ourselves think differently, and it can be very effective. It's it's moving into working with the emotions that to me has the most power. And journaling, all those things. Sorry, and I'm going off, and I've already lost sight of your question.
We'll just move to the next question because it's talking about subconscious imprints. I
Okay.
love this. Subconscious imprints and energetic patterns because we are energy. I when I hit menopause because of my congenital blood disease, I had a lot of side effects, and one of them was systemic neuropathy. And with systemic neuropathy, you'll feel electrical shocks, and it was not fun at first, but then what I really our bodies are energy. We're just electricity. We're these big balls of energy. So as you do this work, what's amazing to me is you can just work on you and everybody around you shifts. It's like your friends did, right? You were working on you and they were like, whoa, something's going on there and I want some of that. So the toxicity will tend to just drop itself out and the good people on higher vibrations start filling up your circle. It's really cool to watch happen to people. But I often describe survival adaptation. Survival becomes adaptation, becomes identity. And then we need to deconstruct those identities. Where do you see the overlap between trauma, subconscious processing, and the identity we build around that story or experience?
And I'll try and weave in your earlier question of
Did you get
moving
it?
transformational coaches, helping people move forward. So with we end up with these what I call subconscious blocks, the traumas, and it's like energy that is just stuck in you, and you can't see it, you can't access it, and it is always feeding you. And I do a lot of chakra readings, I do a lot of business chakra readings for people, and I've developed the capacity to see where your light is, we are made of light, and where those blocks are hidden and what they're about. And so I can give people all the clarity. And at times, sometimes even in a reading, we'll do some healing. But it's all the traumas that we've gotten early on, and so early on. A lot of it starts in the womb, as you know. Pre-verbal, we're babies. Often by the age of 2, people have become controlling because the adults around them and the chaotic environment, they just think, well, nobody's taking care of this. I have to take control.
Hello.
And hello, yeah. And 2-year-olds, that's where our controlling nature often starts. That's not based on anything I read. That's
That's
experience.
survival. It's
Yes, that's
survival.
our
Somebody's got to
adaptation.
do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's our survival adaptation. And then what happens? We start to develop identities out of our woundedness. We develop
Mm,
these identities of who we are that often has little or nothing to do with who we are. And so healing can come in and create some shifts. But the greatest transformation is not just the clarity, it is uncovering who we all truly are at our core, the truth of our being. And there is a shift to me happening with humanity. Like I said, 33 years of healing myself and healing others. And I'd been through this phase before. I think it was in my 40s, where there comes a time of unlearning and a really surrendering and allowing life to change for you and for you to change, and that you're being held and you're being carried. And it's a deep process, and it's not fun. It's not a pleasant.
Well, it requires trust, which many of us don't have because we didn't develop it, because it wasn't there for us, and willingness to change, and some curiosity. You if you're so used to the other shoe dropping on yourself, you catastrophize the future instead of, hey, you know what, this could really work out for me. One of my favorite mantras that took me a year to come up with is things always work out for me quickly with grace and ease. In my favorite, things always work out for me quickly with grace and ease. It gets my brain out of that loop of, oh, bad stuff's gonna happen. So we do turn these survival patterns into, this is who I am, just who I am. Like, I was an angry person in active addiction, and that wasn't who I was. I'm actually pretty chill, cool chick, but other people were telling me that. I told myself that, and that's who I became, but that was not who I am, right?
And we can even go so far as to, your career is not who you are. Even what you think is your soul's purpose. For years I thought, this is my soul's purpose. I remember when I started doing this work full time, and it's actually not who I am. The spiritual coach, master healer Cheryl is not who I am. I'm a divine being living a sacred life. I'm a divine being living a divine life. I am in my perfection, whether I'm Cheryl Steldt, the master healer, spiritual coach, whether I'm the grandmother, the mother, whether I'm the woman hiking, whether I'm sleeping in on Sunday and having my coffee in bed. I am the divine being. That's who I am. And that requires sitting in the heart and not always knowing, to be, like you said, with curiosity.
Oh, the ego wants certainty, though.
Yeah.
The ego wants certainty. So it does require a willingness to sit and be uncomfortable. I ran from my emotions in a bottle for 20 years. And when I finally turned to face them, Cheryl, I was like, what? This is not that bad. What have I been doing for 20 years? It can actually be a really fun process getting to know who you are. And I loved what you said, and I would like you to repeat it again because it was so profound and I don't want anyone to overlook it. You said, I am a divine being having a
divine life.
Divine life. Yeah. That's powerful.
And we all are. We all are. And so purpose is so much more a state. It's a state of being. And this is not something we can wrap our minds around and become. It's what happens is we start with the journaling and the mindset work and the therapy, and we go into the healing, we go into the transformation work. We need to go through it, because what we're doing is we are releasing the layers of who we think we are. We release the illusions, all the conditioning. And our conditioning does not just come from our families. It comes from every single person around us. Yes. There's the collective conditioning that life needs to be this way. You need to, like, I went to my niece's baby shower. She's 35. Nobody was having babies when I was in my 20s, when they were 35. You were told you do not have a baby past the age of 28 because it'll have Down syndrome. And the word used back then, I hate to say it, mongoloid. You do not, that was the news going around.
Oh yeah, past your prime at 30. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And so
Hang on one second, Cheryl. We've got Pascal in here joining us.
hello,
Pascal,
Pascal.
hello. How are you? Hence why the human form, unlike machines and AI, is an amazing but tough gig. Cheryl sounds like a stratofab per se. You do not have to relive it. That shows so needs to be shared on LinkedIn. I think that's important for people to know that you do not have to relive these experiences to finally let them go and no longer let them drive what's happening in the patterns
That's
in
right.
your life.
It's where it was held in the body and what the emotions are. But eventually it's like we are this divine light, and going through these processes releases the covers,
So that's
releases
the light out. Is that?
and there's also something fabulous going on right now. To me, I mean, humanity is evolving faster than we ever have, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. None of us were born at this time by happenstance. We are all here. We all signed up for this, and we are evolving so rapidly, and the old ways are falling away, and it's messy. It's messy. It's like when you want to renovate a home, you've got to make a mess first. You've got to deconstruct.
And it's loud and it's dirty and yeah, there's nowhere to be.
Right. It's the dismantling. We are all going through the dismantling. So we have these mirrors, we're looking at ourselves, we're looking through all these old lenses, but we're starting to clear the lenses to see what it really means to be human, what life is actually really about, and we start to tune into the fundamental essence of all things, the divinity in all things. And we are moving to a state of unity consciousness. That is where we are heading. And I watch people that I work with, how much faster they're evolving than they were years ago. Oh my goodness, it is rapid because it's necessary, and we've all signed up for it. We're all ready.
Well, and I bet you have seen, I mean, starting 33 years ago, people were not talking about energy work 33 years ago, girl. Like, so you started at a time where it was a little scary to be kind of out and about with, hey, let's do some energy work, guys. So I'm sure you've seen just this massive evolution over the past 3 decades in your career, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so exciting. And yet there's a lot of misconceptions out there around what spirituality is. And yet we have to go through phases. It's like, I see all these phases. You go to a spiritual fair and there's all these crystals. I did all the crystals, energy healing. I don't use any of that stuff anymore. Yes, I have crystals. I like them. But all the old things, it's like we need these talismans and all sorts of different things. And I used to have the most grand altars. I would have these altars with all these things and tarot cards and statues and all these, symbolic.
Oh, I've got every piece of citrine known to man, and I still don't have $7 million. So I'm just saying. I have a crystal store in my house. I love crystals. I love them for mindful meditative tools because you can look in a crystal and gaze in it and never see the same thing twice. But as far as metaphysical properties, it didn't quite work out for me that way. So yeah, I have our house is about to fall in between Brody's guitars and my crystals. So yeah, I've been through the tarot. Well, I never did tarot. I did oracle cards. I actually created my own oracle card deck.
Oh, lovely.
But I think you're right. I think we do have to go through all the phases to see and try on identities, right?
Yes. And I want to say, if I can give some unsolicited advice, seek whatever you're seeking out, seek the experience. Don't seek the knowledge, just seek the experience. What does this do for me? What does this mean for me? Even if you're having divination cards of any sort and you want to pull a card, hold it to your heart and breathe it in, breathe the energy in. What does it mean for you? What is your experience? It's we become who we truly are through experience, not through knowledge. That's
Wow.
that
And that's what you work with people on, to get them out of their head and into their bodies.
and
So they're
having these
coming,
profound experiences.
well, and feeling divine, right? I mean, that's huge. To go from I'm a trauma victim in some terrible situations to, man, I'm a divine being having this divine experience. And Pascal says totally divine being, divine life. Yes, a purpose must be. My 2 cents on one of the things to do is be a holistic ambassador for yourself towards others within your nature. Yes, Pascal, agreed, my friend. We love
Yeah,
Pascal.
it's
Agreed.
funny, Pascal. I like it that you use the word ambassador. I attended just a brief little event by one of my previous clients from a long time ago, and she was leading this meditation, and she said, "You're an ambassador for change." And she said, "We're all ambassadors for change." Cheryl Stout taught me that years ago. We're ambassadors for change. Own it. Yes, Pascal, we are all ambassadors for change, and we can own it. We don't have to know what it looks like. Purpose is a state, and you can go to the grocery store and be standing there with the clerk, and you're in your energy, and that's all. And you can be an ambassador for change. The more you discover who you truly are, the more other people feel it, and it inspires them. And it's just all the healing work, all the transformation is about releasing what is not in alignment with that, so you can become fully embodied.
I love that. What's release, what's no longer serving you. And a lot of what we talk about in here is asking the question, does this still serve me? Because it kept us alive, it helped us survive. But is this performance, is this mask, I have a mask over here that I'm wearing, still serving me, or does it need to come off to be who we truly are? But it can be scary. It can be feel vulnerable. It can feel raw. It is not, it's a messy process sometimes. And I think so many people are putting out there that our spiritual growth is this lovely, magical, toxic, positive. Sometimes this gets raw. It gets messy. Digging in, excavating is messy, right?
Very, very messy. And fear, any of those emotions, they just want to be felt. If you can breathe through them with a long, full, deep breath using your lower abdomen, it just makes it so much easier. It just, whenever I feel fear, it's not like I'm fearless completely, but I don't feel fear ever like I used to, not that tense kind of gripping fear, because I've learned, oh, there it is. Okay, I'm going to just sit down and breathe through it. There we go. Now what's underneath it? And to be curious. Because really, to me now, fear at times can even be kind of boring. Like, oh, okay.
It's
When am
here
I going to be
again. Well,
totally
what I
done
love
with
about your
fear? But
process is that
it
observation is not neutral.
fear
So
gets in our way so much more. You will get, you will get closer. You'll get closer to who you truly are if you let the fear move through you. There's
yeah,
always so much more.
yeah, yeah. I and I love in your process that you just observe it. Oh, there it is. So that requires you to be really in tune with your body. And it's science, it's quantum physics, it's quantum mechanics. Observation is not neutral. The minute we observe it, we're already starting to do the work. I think we overcomplicate some of this work, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. It can be really very simple. And
Yeah.
it's about being present.
Yeah.
Presence
Okay.
and being.
How can you get present? So say you have a client that is really looping in their head. Maybe they have a lot of anxiety, maybe they're in a toxic relationship and they can't get out of it. So, what is one of your processes for getting people into the present moment? Just a tidbit for somebody out there today that is catastrophizing the future, ruminating on the past. How do we get in the present, Cheryl?
So the first thing is notice where it is in your body. Do you have any tension? in your body? Do you have any physical sensation? So you can ask yourself, where do I feel this fear? Where do I feel this emotion? And then breathe into it. So you focus on that area and take long, full, deep breaths using your lower abdomen below your belly to as long as 6 or 8 seconds on the inhale and 6 or 8 seconds on the exhale. And remind yourself it's just temporary. And you can just breathe into it and continue to feel it, and it will naturally dissipate. You're providing the pipe for it to escape through by breathing.
And we forget to breathe, trauma survivors. We cut off from the neck down, so we're not embodied at all. Especially sexual assault survivors, we cut off from the neck down, and we hold our breath all day long sometimes. So a simple, I mean, my husband, he's like, Lisa, just breathe. It irritates me, but he's right. I am holding my breath. But yeah, sometimes, and you're right, getting down into the body. So you've had your own near-death experience. Let's talk about that. I've had many because of my congenital blood disease. Let's dig into that. How did yours change you? How did it fundamentally change who you are and how you show up in the world?
I just heard disease. I didn't hear before that.
Oh, okay. Are we having sound issues? It looks like we might be. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Let me make sure the mic is plugged in. Hang on. All right. Mic's in. Okay. You've had your own near-death experience. Let's dig into that. How did that fundamentally change how you decided to show up in the world after?
I almost died at the top of a mountain in Uganda. It was a very tragic car crash, but actually not so tragic because we lived. We rolled and we flew up in the air and rolled 4 times after the brakes failed. And
Whoa.
It was just a matter of waiting. I just thought to myself, we're all going to die. It was about 2,000 foot cliff. And I just held my breath and thought, no, God, please save us. And waited and just waited and waited. And then it was all this gravel, the car upside down. And after I survived that, I knew I was meant to live. I knew I was here for something. I knew my life was important. And my level of fear reduced after that, and absolutely no fear of death that I've felt since then.
Yeah. It's so funny you bring that up, Cheryl. My husband and I just had a conversation 2 days ago, and we always tend to end up with partners that become our greatest teachers. One of his biggest fears is losing the people he loves to death. And he happened to marry somebody who has a high risk, life threatening congenital blood disease. So, but he said that. He said, you don't seem scared of death. He said, I'm more scared of you going than you are. But when you have faced your mortality in that way, it does take some of that fear away. Also, Cheryl, I think when we live with purpose and meaning, it matters. We're not as scared of transitioning to whatever's next. None of us really know. We don't know. We're all guessing. But you do lose that fear if you're living in purpose and meaning, because you know your life matters. You're making a difference. You're living your mission, right?
That's right. And it's not even so much an overall thing. It's a lifestyle. Yes, we're living our mission. We're living, and so life becomes important. Not we become important. Life becomes important, and how we treat life and how we behave and think and what we do. And we're all doing our best. None of us are perfect.
No.
Far from it. I'll speak for myself. But life becomes important. And I know I want to be known for living life fully. It's to really live, because life is so sacred.
I love that. Sacred divine life. We are sacred and divine, living a sacred divine life. So beautiful. So beautiful. So, okay, fixing yourself. How many times have you heard that? You need to be fixed. I spent over 200 grand trying to fix my brain, and I was still waking up like, fuck, I don't want to be here. How do I do this? It didn't help. But I did everything I was prescribed to fix my brain. What's the biggest misconception about healing that is keeping people stuck right now?
Well, it's not about fixing yourself. What if all your problems were divine problems?
Ooh.
What if all your problems were serving you, and they are divine, they are of God, of the source? If you look at it that way, and your soul's signed up for all that, yes, we still have to be accountable, but we learn to feel like we matter through first discovering what it's like to not matter.
Mm.
Right? And I
Wow.
get so many people that they know they're meant for more. They know that. And especially when you get to midlife, there's got to be more. And I help them go through this passage, and it doesn't take long, like 2 or 3 months, and you're through.
I'm
But
the same way with people. I was just like, we're in and out. You got the tools, go do it. You got it. We don't, it's not years. It
no,
does it
it's not
doesn't take
here.
years, friends. It doesn't take years.
Well,
It
and
takes
it's
yeah.
yeah, it's giving the skills, but it's everything serves us. And like I said earlier, I do a lot of readings on people, and I only these days, these last few years, I only get the really old souls, because they sign up for the hardest lives. If you have a hard life, it's because you're a one old soul. You had all the easy stuff in previous
Sometimes I want to go back and redo that contract. I think I was very stubborn, and I was like, I'll take it all. It's cool. I got it. I got it. I could just see myself on the other side going, no, 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 it's good. I got all those.
Yeah, I would want to ask you, Lisa, what was your soul thinking when you signed up for all this?
It was a lot. It was a lot. But hey, we got through it. We got through it. So yeah, there is no that idea of even the hard lessons being our greatest teachers, because they're coming from the divine, because they're helping us clear, they're helping us do that excavation, and they're helping us discover our own divine light. This brings up a question too. I think a lot of us are scared of our own power. A lot of us are good with our shadow. We're good with that. All the dark stuff, good with that. But our own power, our own light can be terrifying sometimes.
Actually, the most scary thing, the
Talk
most
to me about
scary
that.
thing, because it's so unknown. It's so unknown. When we first tap into it, it's so unfamiliar. We, like you say, we're cool with our shadow. It's familiar. We know it. We understand it. We may not like it, but it's familiar. It's like, Linus from Charlie Brown had his blanket. When he doesn't have his blanket and the world opens up, that can be very scary. It's just unfamiliar. And what often comes up for me, it's, who do you think you are? It's the old conditioning will start to play itself and want to bring you down. But once you have a taste of that light, your true innate being, your true power, you can never, it'll never ever go away again. You
I
will
love that.
always be able to have access it. But yeah, we're terrified, and there's really, of course, nothing to be terrified of, or it's
Yeah.
just really, it's just so unfamiliar, because it changes our lives drastically. And that's sort of, it's like, oh no, that's because we're only comfortable really with what's familiar.
Yeah, those old patterns, the ones we've lived forever. Yeah, well, and in order to get to that living a sacred divine life with our sacred divine light, we have to move through fear of our own greatness. And you're right. Imposter syndrome kicks in. Who the hell do you think you are? Like, I just got finished doing my work with one particular coach, but it was her role to step into a season of my life and tell me, you are so powerful. And I needed to hear that. I needed another strong woman. And see, that's what you do for people, especially midlife women. I needed another strong woman to be strong enough to support me and tell me how powerful I really am. And I believed it and stepped into it. And now we have this amazing podcast that's ranking on Apple in the first 30 days in mental health, and we're helping people. And I've got a book coming out. So, yeah, but that's hard to do, staying in the power without slipping back into I need my blankie, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, and what is power? What is power? It's the expression of our divine nature in
Mhm.
in all areas of our lives, however that is, and being of service with it. It's that divine expression. And so it's sometimes we need to hear it from someone else. And I'm sure she also, or I'm guessing, she helped you discover what your innate power is really all about.
Yes.
It's authentic power because of course it's not power over. And it's interesting, I've done a lot of group energy healings. And I've done a lot of them on power because people want to discover their power, especially women. And what's so interesting, I have them set an intention at the beginning. So they have all these words that go with power. I want to feel powerful and strong, and I can withstand anything. And then we go through the group energy healing. And at the end, what power is peaceful.
Ah,
I feel so peaceful. Yeah, nothing. And it's like they become that person, when you walk into a space sometimes and the most powerful person in the room is sitting there quietly, barely even talking, just
yeah.
relax, chill. And that's
Yeah.
a powerful one. And power is just a blessed state of being. It's not loud, it's not obnoxious.
It's not pushy. Yes.
No,
There's
not
some
authentic
finesse. I love that. Yeah. The person, and you can see it. You can see it when people are fully in their power. And sometimes it can be intimidating for other people that are not doing the work. And
oh
that
yeah.
talk to me about that part, because as people grow, as you work with your clients, you rock the boat. You're starting to set boundaries where you didn't have them before. You're raising your vibration. So, what happens for some of your clients with their relationships and those transitions?
Uh it's they always go along with it. As a matter of fact, sometimes I think my clients are leading me. There's because we're in union. We are
Mhm.
so connected in a session, and we all need the same things. And so it's like I'm often being led, or it might be like something comes up for a client, and I'm thinking, I just went through that in my meditation this morning. That is so
Wow.
like we have these sort of symbiotic relationships. And then as I grow and evolve, what often will happen, I've had clients in the past. That's how the Azarius energy healing came about. And I have another program, the Higher State Throat Chakra program. Those were born from people saying, teach me more. I want more. I want more.
There was a need.
There is a need. And then another person, because I never thought I would teach my healing methodology because I thought, how am I ever going to teach this? I don't know how to teach it. I just know how to do it. And then I had enough of them. And then I remember Stacy. Asking me, when are you ever going to teach this kind of energy healing? And I said, people are asking me, but I can't imagine. And I said, why? And she said, because it's like I've known for years that I'm a healer and I don't know what to do. And I still get goosebumps right now as I'm saying this. And I got goosebumps head to toe. And my heart said, time to teach it. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I don't know what it looks like, and so I'm going to do it. And so I teach. It didn't start, the first round was not Azarius energy healing. It had another long-winded name with way too many words. And the higher state program, these women had worked with me, and they're like, what else do you have? And I'm like, well, my client magnet program wouldn't work for you because, you're not a coach or that sort of thing. Anyway, and so then, I knew my 9-month program was birthed. And so it's sort of like that. As I grow and evolve, I think maybe the odd one, maybe sort of, I don't know, it influences, but I do know that, I think once you really embody, it's about embodiment. You align with who you are. It's about alignment, and then embodying that and just being who you are, whether you're aware of it in every moment or not. We're affecting every body and everything. So sometimes it's like the light of one person will shine on another, and it shines on their darkness, and it can make them uncomfortable. And then other people want to draw near you. And it's really none of my business what's going on with other people, except to know that we are all the same. None of us are different. Fundamentally, we are all divine beings in this is a divine form, this body having a divine life. None of us are different. Even murderers are divine beings.
Well, and I think, Cheryl, we have villainized trauma, and I believe trauma is just part of the human experience, and we all have it in one shape or another. Some worse than others once you hear people's stories, of course, but it's part of the human experience. And you're right. What that tells us is that nobody is alone. So if there's anybody out there listening right now that feels like they're alone, trust us, you're not, because you're with us, because we are all one. And what I've seen in working with people typically is as their vibration raises, so does the whole family, right? Just by them working on themselves. So, what does transformation, because I love the words lasting transformation, what does that look like in everyday life?
You don't react to things the way you used to. You're much more responsive. Not that you never react, but it makes me think of my client Lisa, who had a very narcissistic mother who had ended up with severe dementia. And so she couldn't have conversations with her mother, but her mother, all her old nasty behaviors became worse. And Lisa, who came to me very spiritual, she was a medium, and she was in a relationship that had ended about 6 months earlier, that she ended with a narcissist. She was like, oh my gosh. And she was doing therapy, and she had her own, she would go to healers and stuff, and she worked on herself, but she couldn't get there. So she came to me, and we are doing 10 weeks. And at 2 months, she said, I think I'm done early. I mean,
I love it when you're like, I've gotten what I need.
Yeah. She said, not only am I over him, but my mother doesn't trigger me anymore. I can be at peace around my narcissistic mother. That relationship is healed. What more could there be?
Yeah, that's big work in a short amount of time. Again, reiterating, this does not have to be a trudge for years. It does not. The releasing, the letting go, the excavating. So, how does someone actually change instead of just accumulating more knowledge, right? We have so much information at our fingertips. There's so many modalities for healing out there. How do people get out of their head into their bodies, out of the knowledge into the transformation?
Well, I call it what I refer to as my ACE method, ACE, and A is for access. And the way we access, sit down with your feet flat on the floor, close your eyes, and breathe with a long, full breath. And I invite you to do it right now. Lisa, you can even
Let's do it. Yeah.
put
I'll
your
join.
put your thumb at the level of your navel.
Okay.
Breathe with your lower abdomen. So you want to inhale, let your belly expand for 6 to 8 seconds. And then you exhale. And you squeeze the abdomen at the end of the breath. No breathing with the shoulders, the collarbones, the chest. Let all that relax. You can roll your shoulders around. And I'm just giving you a real quick and easy. That is the number one key. And that will eventually take you into your subconscious. So you just close your eyes and go inward. You can focus in your heart. The number one place, if you're really serious about doing this work, is focus on your root chakra, the tip of your tailbone, the coccyx, because that's where all the pain is. That's where everything started. I wrote the book, Heal Your Neck Issues, Let Your Throat Chakra Shine. So all your throat chakra issues began in your root chakra. And
talk to us about that, because I was going to ask you about the throat chakra next. That's so funny you're bringing it up. So yes, talk to us about that. Root chakra connected to throat chakra. Throat chakra is so important for our communication. But again, we carry all of our traumas, right? Lower down in our chakras. So talk to us about your philosophy about how they move and how to heal our neck issues.
how I figured this out was that most of my clients that had come to see me for years had throat chakra issues. And so many of the issues would come back. We would heal it and it would come back. And I spent about 6 years, it was 5 or 6 years, just working on my throat chakra constantly. I had every throat chakra issue, I am certain. Anyway, what I discovered is that all our issues start in the root chakra, because the root chakra is all about primary safety and stability. If you don't feel safe and stable in your root chakra, how are you going to speak your truth? How are you going to be able to speak so that you're actually heard and understood? How are you going to express yourself well? And so the root chakra, to me, is developed in 3 layers. We first develop safety and stability. And once we have that, we can move into trust and faith. That's where we start to trust ourselves. We start to trust life. We start to trust the universe, the divine source, and have faith. And then we move into the 3rd layer, and that is responsibility and accomplishment. And responsibility is not a dirty word here. Is what did your soul choose to be responsible for in this life? And so you're a first-class act here. You are living part of your soul's responsibility is to get your message out and to help others and to do this podcast. I'm responsible for healing and empowerment and more these days, alignment and embodiment. So once you first have to get that first layer before you can move to the root chakra. But if you can get to the 2nd level and really build and go from trust and faith, the energy then runs up the spine. And then it's really easy to heal the throat chakra. And people turn around real quick when they do that.
I love that, because what you're talking about is safety is foundational, friends. Safety is, that's it. I was just going to say number 1. Yes. Safety has to be there. And I love that you've layered trust right on top of safety, because so many of us, if we have betrayal trauma, if we had neglect, as we couldn't trust our caretakers, then trust is hard to get to because we don't feel safe. That is beautiful. That makes total sense now. Root chakra safety moves up. If we're not feeling safe, you're right. How are we ever going to possibly stand in our power, use our throat chakra to command our message out into the world? It makes total sense. The name of your book again, one more time.
Heal Your Neck Issues and Let Your Throat Chakra Shine.
I love that title. I love that. And I bet people's neck pain went away too, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, their neck pain went away. So, all right, Cheryl, one more question as we close out. Well, first of all, how can people find you to work with you, and how are you currently working with people? You have your certification program.
My certification program, and I'm mostly working one-on-one with people. I'm just really enjoying that. The certification program is group, and I have my throat chakra program is still very, very popular. And then there's the higher state throat chakra program. The best way to start to work with me or even get interested is to do a reading. Just do a reading with me, 20 minutes, and you'll get so much information, and I can give you tips on how you can move forward. And if you want to work together, we can. I easily see energy. And so what I can do here, what I would love to do for all your listeners, and Lisa, for you as well, is I'll provide a link for a complimentary 20-minute chakra reading.
Oh, I'm on it. I'm signing up first.
Let's do that. And so we can put it in the notes. Because it's really how I can be of high level service in just a short time. So that is one way. My website is starofdivinelight.com, because I don't just believe, I know we are all stars of divine light. That's my website. So there's lots of resources on there. You can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. But yeah,
all of that for you guys. You don't have to remember it. It'll all be there. Thank you for offering a complimentary session. I'm signing up as soon as we're done here. All right. Our closing question on Notes from the Edge is always, stop performing your life. So Cheryl, in your life, what did you perform in order to survive? And what did dropping that identity mask or performance do to transform or change your life?
I would say I'm right in there with a lot of women. I performed in putting everyone else's needs first. And I think that's a collective conditioning for women, especially my age, and it's still carrying on today, putting everybody else's needs first. And that it's not like I thought I had to earn love, but I thought that was my place, and that's what made me lovable. It's taking care of everybody else. And I think most healers, coaches, we lean toward that. If I take care of everybody and everything, it makes me have value. It makes me
feel worthy. And mine was, how much can I produce? Right? Because as a child, it was the more I performed stage acting and cheerleading and leadership teams. And the more I did, the more I produced, the more I created, then I proved my worth. So that is still active practice for me, is resting without guilt, right? Without needing to produce something to prove my worthiness. So I think you're right. It is systemic conditioning for women, especially, to have to take care of everything. And I think when we hit closer to our age, we're like, whoa, wait a minute. I ain't doing that no more. And so then we find people like you who help us heal. So I absolutely love that. Cheryl, thank you so much. The work that you're doing is absolutely beautiful. Thank you for your wisdom. Listen, friends, whether your path includes therapy or spirituality or neuroscience or really asking great deeper questions. And Cheryl, we talk a lot about that in here, and you do that. You ask the deeper questions, the questions that are going to get the transformation, because sometimes it is just about asking the question, answering it, observations, not neutral, and getting embodied for maybe the first time ever for some people, I bet, that you work with. So, friends, keep asking better questions, keep telling the truth. Remember, the moment we become aware of a pattern, right? We observe the pattern. We are no longer trapped inside of it. And then if you're not sure what to do next, reach out to Cheryl, and she's going to give you a badass reading, I have no doubt. Cheryl, thank you so much for being a guest today. This was an awesome conversation. And thank you for reminding me that I am a divine being living a divine life. I needed that reminder today.
Thank you. It's been a real privilege. Really appreciate it, Lisa.
Yes. All right, guys, welcome to the Edge. We will see you next time.